Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the whole lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whomever came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. Alright, and what I want to go into today, is dealing with the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11 and verse 1. And the topic, the title of this lesson is the big return, because the labor and the work, that the Lord is allowing us to put in, as we've been privileged, to be allowed to serve, Yahweh Bashem Shai in these latter days, by serving our people, by teaching his word, by being watchmen, and the hopeful elect, is taking heed. They're being built up, edifying and being edified and being prepared for the second coming of Yahweh Shai, being prepared to leave this world behind, in the expectation of what Yahweh Shai is getting ready to bring, to the earth, man, which is a forever righteous kingdom, man. We're going to be changed, we're going to be perfected, but all these things are made known through teaching, through laboring, through serving. And there's a big return, for those men, who serving Yahweh Bashem Shai wholeheartedly, man. Now when you go to Ecclesiastes 11 and 1, it says, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days." And when you read in the NLT, it says, "Send your grain across the seas, and in time profits will flow back to you." And we know this bread is this word is likened unto what? Bread. And as we cast this bread upon the waters, as we teach this word, it's like putting this bread upon waters, like trading, because when you did trade back in the ancient world, we're going to get into it, and you will put your goods on the ship and send it off, and where you sent it off to, they would come back with the profit, So this is what we're doing in the spirit. When we're teaching this word, we're putting our bread on many waters. That's why even you have, the thing called what? A live stream. We putting this word on the waters, on the internet. This is the waterway now. A broadcast, going into what? Casting seed. When they say a broadcast, matter of fact, I got that pulled up. Let's go here real quick. Let's go into that word. Alright. So you go into a broadcast. You have the first definition. So they transmit a program or some information by radio or television. Via the internet now. But then it says to scatter seeds by hand or machine rather than placing in drills or rows. So when we're broadcasting, via the internet, where we're scattering seeds of truth, and it's springing up unto the elect. The elect is springing up as seeds of truth are being cast out. And that's the prophet. That's the initial prophet, is the elect being edified. And it's going to lead to the big return, which is when Yahweh Shai returns, he's returning with a kingdom. He's returning with authority, with power. We're going to profit forever, man. So let's read this again. Then I want to go into the customs of this. Ecclesiastes 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1 in the NLT. "Send your grain or your bread across the seas, and in time profits will flow back to you." Now let's get this in let's go into it in the NLT. So I just asked, what is the ancient customs behind this verse? What is it saying to believers? It says, cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. This verse is traditional attributed to Solomon, all right, though the book identifies the speaker as the preacher. Let's break it down from an ancient Near Eastern perspective and then apply what it means for believers. It said the ancient custom behind the phrase. It says maritime trade and commerce. In the ancient world, especially during the time of Solomon, Israel participated in international trade. Solomon partnered with Hiram, and right, 1 Kings 9 and 10. Ships would sail for a long voyage, sometimes years. Goods were sent out across the waters. The return was uncertain, but often profitable. Okay, the return was uncertain, but often profitable. So casting bread upon the waters could refer to investing resources in overseas trade, trusting that profit will return after many days. And that's what we're doing, and we're trusting that a profit will is going to return after many days. Okay, so right now we're just constantly sending this bread across the waters, the internet. Okay, and then eventually it's going to start to flow back. The profits are going to flow back. Okay, to those that invested and cashed their bread in truth and sincerity, man. Those profits are going to flow back. Okay, and it's going to flow back at the return of Yahushua. You see, it says, so casting bread upon waters could refer to investing resources in overseas trade, trusting that profit will return after many days. It's a picture of risk, delayed return, faith in the long-term reward. Faith in the long-term reward. Okay? And that's what our faith is in, is this long-term reward. Okay? That's coming with Yahushua, an eternal blessing that's coming with Yahushua. So we delay, the instant gratification, the instant reward that's in this world. Okay? We delay those things, man. All right? And we tap into, faith in the long-term reward, man, that's coming with Yahushua. You see? And it says another possible background comes from Egypt and Mesopotamia. When rivers like the Nile flooded, farmers would scatter seed on receding waters. The water-soaked soil would produce harvest later. To an observer, it looked like you were throwing seed away, but in time, harvest came. Okay, so someone looking from the outside in, just like they look at us and what we're doing, is a waste of time. Someone from the outside looking in, looking at us going to camp every week. Okay, brothers doing videos throughout the week. All right, it's like a waste of time. But they don't understand that we're scattering the seed, and eventually it's going to be a harvest, man. Okay, and we already have the initial harvest with the elect springing up, because it began with, Elder Albert Bivens. The first seed was planted in him, and then he went to plant seed, okay, and trickle down to our apostles and elders today. All right, and now you have camps that have sprung up everywhere from all this seed that was being cast out, man. Okay, and that big return is going to be when Yahushua returns, man. Okay, but we're already seeing, a harvest from these seeds, which is the elect being built up and edified. The elect is springing up all over the earth, man. State to state, country to country, the elect is springing up. Okay, but it began with what? Casting seed. And to those on the outside looking in, it looks pointless, like what? We're wasting time. All right, because what's one of the common things that they tell us, all right, on the highways and byways, get a job. Okay, because people look at what we're doing as useless, of no value. Okay, it says to an observer, it looked like you were throwing seed away, but in time a harvest came. So this may mean so generously, even when the outcome isn't immediate. Trust the process, and the Lord has us in a position where we gotta trust the process. Nothing is immediate in the truth, man. It's all about trusting the process, man. That's why the truth is about repetition, man. Okay? And to most, the truth will be boring because it's so repetitive, okay? And it's just doing the same thing every day. Getting into the same thing every day. To the majority of the world, this is boring. But to be great, the path to greatness is boring to most people. That's why most people aren't great. Okay? So we have to trust the process as we're teaching this word, and we're not getting, the immediate return. We're not going viral overnight. Okay? We're not becoming celebrities teaching this word. We're not, getting instant wealth and, the praise and all these different things. You gotta trust the process, and we want these things in the order because Yahweh Shai, he coming to get his praise and his honor, man. We'll get eyes on the back end. We're gonna profit forever. You see, the instant gratification in this world is temporal and it's defiled, it's tainted. It comes with headaches. Okay, but what Yahweh Shai got for us, man, it's forever, and it comes with peace, and it's gonna be in this order, and it's gonna be beneficial forever, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's get some precepts to go into that. Let's get Isaiah 60. Isaiah 62. Alright, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 62 and verse 11. And it said, Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, Behold, thy salvation is coming. Behold, his reward is with him, and his works before him. Okay, which he's going to be judging the earth and conquering the earth in righteousness. And it said his reward is with him, man. So at the same time as we're casting his bread upon the waters, we're pushing his word, pushing his doctrine out there, man. Just constantly investing into the truth, investing into the kingdom, investing into the ministry, man. Just keep pouring in, pouring in, and pouring in. And all of a sudden, it's going to all come back. As we see the harvest of the elect now, but then there's a big return. Yahweh Shai, he's going to come back and put down the wicked. And that's part of our investment too. We want to see the downfall of the wicked. We're investing into that. We're teaching this word. We're speaking, the end of the wicked into existence, man. Okay, then eventually Yahweh Shai is going to come and make that happen. Okay, and then we're going to be rewarded with rulership and immortality, man. That's going to be that big return. Okay, this is what we await. As the Lord has put us, all right, in a position to where we can invest. He's allowing us to invest into this thing, man. To keep putting that bread on these waters, man. And it's gonna be a return. The Lord, he matter of fact, let's get a few more. Okay, because the Apostle Paul made the point. When you go to the book of 2 Corinthians, I think it's 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. It says, But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully, man. Okay? So, if you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. If you cast out little seed, your return going to be little. If you cast out much, if you put in much, then you're going to get back much, man. And we all want to maximize our office, man. Every brother office is different. Okay? To whom much is given, much is required. But we want to maximize in our office, man. We want to, as the Apostle Paul said, we want to magnify our office, man, whatever it might be. Okay? So we want to sow bountifully according to our office, according to our spirit. According to the portion of faith that was given unto us, we want to sow bountifully within that, man. And Yahweh Shai, all right, he's coming back with a bountiful return. Let's get this in Hebrews chapter 6. All right, Hebrews 6 and 10, it said, For the Most High is not unrighteous, all right, to forget your work and labor of love, which you have showed towards his name, and that you have ministered to the saints and do minister, man. So the Most High, and he's not unrighteous to forget these works and labors of love, and he's seeing us investing and pouring into this thing. Okay, and he's gonna make that return flow back unto us, man. And it's a delayed thing, you know. But the kingdom gonna be worth the wait. You know, it's a lesson within itself, man. The kingdom will be worth the wait, man. You know, so we're gonna keep putting this bread on many waters, and eventually, you know, the Lord's gonna bring back that big return. You know, so Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time, I say shalom. Kwame Yashala, Abba, Abba, soon, shalom.